So, I'm Zara, and I come from a small town in the north of Portugal. And while growing up, really, all I ever wanted was to get out of there, I can say. I wanted to come to the big city. I didn't come to Lisbon until I was 18 for college. And when I came to Lisbon and I met other people who had grown up in the city, I realized how people who grew up in the city had such different experiences from me. Because at 18, everybody was like having sex since forever. They had been there, done that when it comes to drugs. They've been to concerts. They had all sorts of experiences. But my experiences growing up in small town Portugal were quite different. When I was in 5th grade, so I was 11, I was in love with this boy called Tiago. Now Tiago was the son of the guy who owned the pig farm in my town. He never even noticed that I exist, like he was never gonna go for me, like not in a million years. Nowadays, we are Facebook friends, and every 2 photos he posts, one of them is him behind, like, you know, these things, like these pits to roast the pig that goes round and round, is like him behind the pig roasting thing, like, yeah, I'm such a dude, I'm such a man. And I'm like, I am so glad that didn't go forward. That was 5th grade, and he didn't notice me. But on 6th grade, I fell in love with this guy called Nani, who was his cousin, because, you know, small towns. Now Nani did like me back, or at least so I thought back then. But I mean, when you're like 12 at that age, it's not like we were making out and things like that. Basically, our relationship was more like hanging out during recess at school or exchanging little notes, you know, like, I don't know if this was a thing in your country, like in Portugal, this was a thing. You would write a note and say, do you like me? And put a little box that says yes, and a little box that says no, and the other person would tick it, and probably not even give it back to you. They'll give it to a friend, and they'll come and give it back to you, and when you open and you see the yes, it's like this dopamine rush. It feels so good. So yeah, we used to hang out during recess, and I really, really liked this guy. He was dreamy, he was cute. I liked him so much that I remember he had diabetes. And I used to have this mental debate with myself because I really like sweets. So one day when we live together, I'm gonna have so many sweets in the house, but he's not gonna be able to eat the sweets. So how are we gonna do? How is this relationship gonna work? Like at 12 years of age, I thought this was gonna be it. But yeah. So one of these days during recess at school, somebody had the brilliant idea of bringing a pig to school. I'm talking like a full-grown pig, you know? Like, we didn't even question why that pig was there. The pig was released during recess, and we were just running around with the pig. People were giving nicknames to the pig. Like, if this was a movie, you could imagine the kids like going in slow motion and the pig in the background. I mean, if this was nowadays, I'm sure I would have selfies with a pig. That's how happy we were with the pig. And I was there with Nani and playing with the pig like we do, you know, until 2 men came and took the pig. These 2 men took the pig and put the pig on top of like a wooden platform, some sort of stage, and tied the pig down. Another dude showed up with a bucket and a big ass knife. And I was like, what the fuck is going on, right? You're laughing, but this shit is dramatic. This dude, I mean, if you guys seen Game of Thrones, picture this dude, the one with the knife, like the hound, you know, like scary ass dude. At that moment, I lost track of Nani, my boyfriend, and I was with my friend Katerina. And we start seeing what these people are doing on top of this platform. They tend on the pig, and the big dude, the hound dude, starts stabbing the pig on his chest. This is when I realized why this pig was there, because we were doing what we call here the Matança do Porco, the pig slaughtering festival, which happens before winter, in which families get together, they slaughter a pig, you know, they cut the meat, they give it to the friends, they give it to the family, they make the sausages, they make the whole shebang that lasts the whole winter, like right about now. And I will never, ever forget the sounds of what happened then. I'm just there with my piggy friend, and all I can hear is like I'm saying, you guys laugh, but this is really fucking dramatic. And I'm telling my friend Katerina, where is Nani, where is Nani? Because at that point, you know, like, I want my boyfriend to come and like comfort me, because this is really dramatic, and this is very traumatizing. And Katerina goes and looks for Nani, and comes back 5 minutes later, when they're already toasting, you know, the hairs of the pig, and it starts smelling like bacon, and you get confused because of the signals, because it's dramatic, but at the same time it smells appetizing, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? So Katerina comes back and tells me, I found Nani, but he says he doesn't like you back. And I'm like, what? He says he doesn't like you back because you cannot look at the pig straight when the pig is being slaughtered. You're a coward. So, as a girl growing up in the countryside, I didn't pass the test of being cool enough, you know, to date this guy. This, like, broke my heart. Like, this was the first guy who broke my heart, because I couldn't look at the pig. The next day, obviously, you can imagine what they served at the school cafeteria for lunch. And I was just so glad that, once again, being from a small town, I could go home for lunch because my mom would cook dinner, and I didn't have to eat my pig friend. 2 weeks ago, I went up north to visit my mom, and one of the days I just went out for coffee randomly, and I entered a cafe, and the whole cafe was pretty much empty, except for 2 tables, my table, and on another table, there was Nani and his wife. And how do I know that this is the wife? Because we are nowadays Facebook friends, but it's not like I added him, if you should know. Like, we didn't talk since this incident, but at some point in time, he added me. And I looked at him, and I sat there for like 15 minutes at least, sipping my coffee. He was having a sandwich, his wife was sipping soup, and they didn't talk for at least 15 minutes, and I thought, they are so miserable, this relationship sucks. You can tell when someone has a rotten face and they're just like miserable in life. And I just thought to myself, serves you right, motherfucker, you chose the wrong girl. Thank you.